Now, I mentioned in an earlier episode to get on with your bearing supplier, and that would also extend to getting on with your steel supplier. If you meet someone who's enthusiastic about your projects, you're onto a winner. And this chap will cut, here's my shopping list, and I need these off at 640 please. And it's great, and it lets me wander around his shop, and if I don't know exactly what I need, I can sort of wander around, obviously not without him being here or without his permission, but he doesn't mind me not knowing exactly what I want right at the outset. So this is definitely a partnership, not just with this gentleman, but with the bearing suppliers, with my painter and all that sort of stuff. So if you are retired and you're building stuff and you miss some of that human company, you've gone from working in a big factory to being on your own in retirement, get building, build something, go out, meet people, specify things. And I'm being cheeky now because I've looked at my measurements, I'm getting him to cut the lengths, and in strictly speaking I should really just be buying, I don't know, a metre or two of it, but because I've got my dimensions worked out and he's a lovely chap, I'm actually cutting it to the right spec for me. So yeah, I don't need to do a heck of a lot to this. And this is spreading across, this is to spread the shock of the leaf spring where it bolts to the aluminium chassis, because obviously I've got steel springs and steel hangers and an aluminium chassis, so these are the load bearers that will bolt through the chassis and then weld my spring hangers onto them. How you doing? I'm going to dispense with the mics because it's only just a quick one, and I'm going to show you around the steelwork that I've just bought. So this is what it looks like. This is not welded yet, but this does show you the design. I thought I'd take you off the tripod and show you around so that you can see why I've done what I've done, or what I'm planning to do anyway. So that's aluminium. I can't weld to that because I've not got an aluminium welder. I can bolt to that, but I want to spread the load from these springs across, spread it out over the aluminium chassis, so I have a spreader plate that will bolt through there, boink boink, and through there, boink boink. That little saddle will prevent that from bouncing too far when it goes off-road. I'll just cut the bit there that stands up to stop it from coming up. So the springs will slip under there. This rear, let's call it a cross member, let's call it a chassis cross member, attaches there, there, and there. Just there it will go the riv nuts. What else do we call riv nuts? Similar sort of things. You know, they're like rivets. So I shall put 4 M6s into the centre, and 1, 2, 3, 4 M8s into the chassis. Spreader plate at the front. That will be welded on, and that will be welded onto there, and that's how it will work. I've got, see if I can see a bit better on this side. It's upside down, but we've got that much movement. Let's move that, see if that's any easier. So there you go. To give you an idea, we've got just about the fist for movement. I won't press down on this suspension at the moment because otherwise it'll all the loose steel that I've just put on will just fall off. But yeah, so that's what it's going to look like. So maybe this afternoon I will start measuring up, drilling, and then I'm going to want to remove this. I'm going to want to remove the trailer chassis from anywhere near the trailer tent before I put any tack welds in, because if I drop a weld, that'll just straight through. So I will separate the two before I start welding. I'm happy with that, with this design. I didn't want to have to use much steel, but I don't think I have. I've used some, but just not a heck of a lot. The wall on that is 2 mil. It's not that heavy, and it's not overkill, and hopefully it's not underkill either. I mean, and that for me is the idea of good engineering. Yeah, I don't want to do overkill. These, for instance, they're way more than necessary, but look, they're off the shelf, so it's easy enough. I may well put a closing panel on the end of that to give it some extra strength, stop that just becoming, collapsing like a trapezium. I mean, it's still made of steel, but I think I might well just close that up at the end anyway to give that a bit of extra strength at the expense of not a hell of a lot of weight. And bar that, we are 99% done at that, I hope anyway. I have worked out the figures, and I'm sure that I've put them on another screen. If I haven't yet, then I can tell you now that it's cost me about $3,050 so far to get to this stage. But I'm not grumbling at that, because I have something that is, I didn't make it like this to make it cheaply. I made it like this to make it light. So no, far from the cheapest trailer you've ever seen. Way more expensive, but way lighter. Way lighter. You can get yourself a heck of a lot cheaper trailer, but not lighter. So there we go.